Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonia Farrell and welcome to Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythm City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we've got the lovely Ricky Brinley, who's HMM Business Development and Contracts Manager down there at HMM Mechanical and Building Services. And we've also got the lovely, fabulous Lynn Rowe, who is Director of Trinity Create Marketing Agency, who are a partner of HMM Mechanical and Building Services. Hello, both of you. How are you?
Very well, Sonia. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You okay, Sonia?
I'm good, Ricky. How are you doing today?
Yeah, it's not too bad, as long as it stops raining.
It stops raining. We can always hope. That's what we're hoping for. Well, thank you so much for coming into the Cross Rhythm studio. I hope you're impressed so far with what you see.
Oh, yeah. It's very cosseted in this room, isn't it? Yeah, I like the sound, and yeah, it's all
a bit
good.
like, I always say to people, it's a bit like a spaceship.
Yes.
Or a TARDIS.
Yes, and you're managing that TARDIS beautifully.
I try my best. I have my fantastic friends nearby, don't you worry about that. But yes, thank you for coming in. So Ricky, just before we go anywhere, please just tell us a little bit more about what HMM Mechanical and Building Services actually do, and where are you based?
We are based on Chemical Lane down in Burslem, and we are basically we try to be a one-stop shop for all your needs from commercial and domestic. We have full building teams, electrical teams, plumbing and heating teams. We look after building management, so a building such as yourselves as you're based in, we provide services to maintain all the heating systems. Any general building work that's required, we provide all that service, and we literally like to think that we can start from the bottom and finish at the top.
And the company itself, I believe, has got 30 years plus experience within the industry.
Yes,
yourself,
with the staff.
Yeah? How long have you been working
I've been
in the
involved in the plumbing and heating industry since I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah, the hard paper round.
I'm now nearly 45, so...
Yeah,
it's been a while.
So it's been like virtually then all your working life you've been in this industry.
Yes, I've been in this industry since I was a child, yes.
Yeah. So you must have seen many changes then.
Oh yes, completely. Everything from back when I went to college to today is just completely different.
And part of that, and part of the reason, we're going to have a little chat today as well, is not just how the industry has changed, Ricky, and from what you've seen,
yes, but
also the different developments that are coming through within your industry,
yes,
which could perhaps involve technology.
Yes, very much so. We've been looking to try and take away the paper side of things to a bit more economical with everything else, and we come up with an idea of an app for the lads. We looked everywhere to see what was about, couldn't find anything what we need, so that's when we spoke to Lynn over at Trinity, and things escalated from there. So
again, just going back to when you started out in the industry, and how things were then, can you describe, maybe give a few examples of when you're saying about reducing paperwork and all that and making things more efficient? Can you describe maybe what it was like when you first started to what now you're aiming to do with the company that you're with now?
Everything basically was you had to go to the office to pick up your paperwork.
Yeah.
To go find where you had to go. Then it was more paperwork to go to the merchants to pick up your materials. Then it's more paperwork that you've got to take back to the office. What we're trying to do is make it so there's none. So I can literally say to the lads, "There's your work," and off they go. They haven't got to worry about anything from the merchants. They haven't got to worry about anything coming into the office. It keeps them on the road. It keeps them straight to the jobs. Just streamlining. Hopefully we're going to streamline everything we've got, and hopefully in the future it could be beneficial to other companies as well as ourselves.
And I can imagine, like you say, some years ago, 10, 15, whatever, 20 years ago, without having sort of technologies like this, that could have been quite time consuming for you on a job or your work.
You could imagine going to and forth from the office and everything, you can end up losing half a day. By the time you've messed around picking everything up, dropping everything off, and can take out a lot of time for something that we're hoping we can dismiss.
So now 2024, a new job management system, JMS, I believe, abbreviated to you, for HMM Mechanical and Building Services. And Lynn, you as Trinity Create, you've been a massive partner in this, in helping the organisation to basically transition and go into the next generation of providing mechanical and building services. But what does this app, just going on from what Ricky said, what does this app actually mean, and how can it simplify things?
Okay. When we first sort of started speaking with Ricky and the team, and we just recognised you've got just a really smashing idea that you sort of it feeds into all the elements that a progressive company would be looking for. So saving time, because time is money, and being more efficient for the client. It was about saving petrol, so that the lads aren't coming to and from. But it was being efficient with the use of technology to enhance the system and enhance how people buy and work with the company. So it was a really complex piece of work, and it's been 12 months in the making. We've probably been having conversations, I would say, for 18 months if I'm honest, because the first 6 months were all about getting down on paper, the old paper, what exactly does that look like? Because the industry that the guys work in at HMM, it's really, really complex. And as I would term myself, a layperson, you don't understand it. So to really get that customer journey and that user experience really down to pat, to start to say, well, how can we start to feed that through into making sure that we are finding efficiencies for both HMM and both for the customer as well. Let's make it speedy for the customer, so that they, instead of somebody spending 2 hours on site because actually they've had to go off and find something, they spend an hour. Well, we pass that cost on to the customer. So it makes HMM much more efficient in terms of how they're working. So that's almost in a nutshell. But when you sort of say it quickly like that, it sounds like it was a really easy process. It really wasn't. Building apps, it's tricky, and it does require very, very skilled people to do that. And I'm very lucky that I've got that team. But you've got to have it as a partnership, because we can build whatever you like. If it isn't fit for purpose and not fit for the job that it's required for, it's a pointless task. So we're now at the stage where we're launched. The team are using it. We're slowly getting the gentlemen and the ladies we're filtering it through. Yes, doing some training with them and getting really positive results. Next steps will be to actually make sure that we can make it out into the rest of the industry and show them how good and how efficient it can be. And I think the other thing that we have to remember about is we talk about sustainability in this day and age. There's a great little story of sustainability that you can feed into that app as well, because having that system all in one place that the guys can access, the office can talk to them on the job. It just means they're not jumping in the car, driving over to pick parts up. It's really efficient.
It's instant.
So it's instant, and sustainability is really important to the guys at HMM as it is to us at Trinity. So we've tried to weave that into that as well. So
you can see from what you're saying there, and when you mentioned Ricky as well, that sustainable angle, not just cutting out the paper, cutting that down, and how you sort of process, whether it's information or relay information between staff members, but also the driving, going back and forth and everything. Does that also, would you say, can that have quite a positive impact on your staff for their own, even their well-being in the workplace?
Yes, of course. It helps them feel more relaxed. It'll help them to feel more comfortable, the fact that all they've got to do is send a message back, instead of having to go out and find a signal on your phone and everything else, because it's all linked together, and it's an instant report, if you like. As soon as they send us that, we can see. So in essence as well, they haven't got to then worry about it. So if they go out to diagnose, for an example, they go to a boiler breakdown, they'll diagnose what the fault is. They can send that straight back to the office, And within an hour, the team in the office can have a price on the parts, how much is going to cost the customer to get it all repaired. While they're still doing what they're doing on site, we can have that back, and the customer can make an instant decision whether they want us to do it there and then.
Yeah.
That's how quick it is.
Yeah. And remembering again, I'm going to take you back from when you mentioned, you've been in the industry for such a long time. But imagine if you must have thought about it, going through this process, obviously, with Lynn and the team, about how much of a benefit, perhaps, would it have been for you some years ago?
Yes, back in the day.
Back a few years ago.
You used to, you were done. Once you found out what you think was an issue with, you then have to go. You've got to leave site, so you've got to leave the customer with everything in pieces still. You've got to go off to find where the parts are. If somebody's got it in stock, you've then got to get a price.
Yeah.
You've then got to go back to the office, and then you've got to go back to here. Then you've got to go back to that. Then you go back to the customer. By the time you've done it, it's a simple what you could do now using the app in a couple of hours took a day. If not more. So in turn, the customer's going to be saving money. We're going to be saving time. The lads feel better because they haven't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
In all, the only thing that I can say is I see it as such a bright thing for the future of the industry. I think it's the way forward.
Yeah. And again, going back to the industry, and again, whether it's 10 whatever years ago, would you ever imagine that this sort of technology would actually come into the industry?
Yeah, yes and no. My dad used to work for British Gas, and I remember my dad coming home with his first on-call mobile phone, which was the size of 4 house bricks stacked on top of each other for a battery, with a giant phone sitting on top of it. So you sort of knew people were looking and people were trying. We've just had an idea and we've gone with it. And I think it's going to be beneficial, and I think it could be beneficial to a lot of companies, because the way we've designed it, it can be bespoke to them as well. We can tweak it, we can make it work, can't we? We can make it how they like it. Yeah. So
it'll just keep evolving.
It'll keep. Yeah, that's exactly what it will do. It will evolve to how they want it to evolve.
And I guess, in business as well, we all know, we can all sit here, you've always got to be that forward thinking.
Of course you have.
Yes.
And with this bringing something new into the company, again, you're always evolving
Yes.
with it, and that's going to be...
There's the scary part that, as anything, you've got to take a step to make the next step. And it's been a step. It has been a step. Yeah. There's been days where we've gone to do something and it's just all gone out the window because something didn't work how we wanted it to work, or it didn't work how Lynn and the team wanted it to work. Yeah. So you have to go backwards to go forwards. And it's a very long process, and it's taken, like you say, probably from start to finish, where we are now is 18 months. But it's going to be so beneficial. It's definitely a step in the right direction.
And Lynn, just coming back to you again there, how we talked about the industry and the changes and developments in different industries, and technology is coming through more and more, again, in places you might not have even thought about it. But for this particular industry as well, you've talked about you'd like to help more on this scale by introducing this innovative technology. Yeah. But how do you see that going forward again? Is it like we've just said, is it just going to keep evolving and keep changing?
Yeah, we believe that we've made the system that the guys wanted us to make, but we believe we've also added that future-proof element. Moving forward, we want it to be that it's a system that, yes, we can go to other like-minded businesses and make it fit for them. Because if we don't embrace technology, and if companies don't embrace technology, then they're going to get left behind. And there's doesn't give me any joy saying that. I'm of a certain age myself. Where the paper was, paper and pen and the quill was all very good for me, and continues to be so. But certainly within the industry that the HMM team reside in, technology has perhaps not kept as much pace as it might have done. And I think because it's a very complex industry, we can all sit and say, oh yes, building services and mechanical services, yeah, they just go and fix boilers. My goodness me, it's been a huge learning curve for us to see the intricacies of that business and to be able to tie it all together in a one place that helps not only the customer and gives that benefit there, but helps the company as well. And we really sincerely hope that we can package that up and really go to the market along with HMM. It is a pure partnership here. We'll build it. Rick will bring the other businesses to us for it. But technology has to be embraced. There's no getting past it. But there's a cost to that. And in this day and age with the areas that we live in, it's really hard to put that money aside. And I applaud what HMM have done, and because they put the money aside, but they will reap the benefits of that tenfold, and they will return on investment before they know it. And it's been a brilliant experience for us, a great learning curve for us. I feel like I know their industry inside and out now. I feel like I could go and mend a boiler.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't really, but it's just been a really great partnership, and is something that I really believe that other businesses, particularly in this industry, need to jump on the back of, because it will save time, money and effort for everybody. So snooze you lose is where I'm at with that.
And Ricky, I'm just coming back to you then. So we've talked about how the efficiencies for the business, for customers and all that sort of thing, but how have your staff, I know you've mentioned they're going through a training process at the moment, but how have they embraced it so far?
We've had a couple of hiccups.
Yeah, everybody's human. Yeah.
But for example, of yesterday, we used it yesterday with one of the engineers, and he at the end of the day he come back to me and his words were superb.
Okay.
So it shows what we're trying to do is going where we want it to go.
Yeah.
It made his job easier on site. It made his entire process from how he explains it to me, it was straightforward. It's exactly what they've been asking for. What we've done is, we, instead of saying this is what we want this way, we've had the engineers in, we've sat down with them, we've said to them, you tell us what you want to see and let us look at if we can do it that way. Which is what they've got.
Yeah.
So if they come back and say they don't like it, then we'll be having words with them.
Yeah. So again, it's that communication through and through.
Yes.
The company.
We decided that we aren't using it as such. They'll be using it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So if anybody needs to have input, it's got to be the people using it, surely.
They were a big part of the whole
complete.
The team were a real and a real source of information, because they were the end users, and we'd got that goal of something great for the customer, something great for the business, but actually the meat in the sandwich was the guys that were actually using it. So
the good thing is, as well, as each engineer has their own way of doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you compile it all together, you're kind of making it so everybody will be doing it the same way.
And the biggest thing for them was they wanted to book the holidays on it. And we managed to weave that in.
Wow.
So that actually now the office have got full visibility on a fabulous screen that they've got that shows who's in, who's not in, what job they're on, where they're at. So there is full visibility there.
Yeah.
And it again, it does my heart good when I hear that, we got Nathan
yesterday,
onboarded on it yesterday. And Nathan was what should I say? A late adopter to technology.
Yeah.
And for him to say it was superb, then that for me is a stamp of approval.
It worked a treat yesterday, and that's
a bit of a breakthrough.
Yeah,
that's all we can ask for. It did everything that we've asked it to do now, and it's produced all the documents that we wanted it to produce.
Yeah,
and it just saved a load of time, and it saved a load of. That means the engineers haven't got to go away now and then do the report of what they did on the job. It was done instantly on site. It's just bright. Future's bright, isn't it? So
yeah.
And on that note, The future is bright. Thank you so much, Lynn and Ricky, for coming into the studio.
Thank you very much.
That's Lynn Rowe from Trinity Create Marketing Agency, who are a partner of HMM Mechanical and Building Services, who was joined by Ricky Brinley from HMM. This is Business Spotlight. I'm Sonia Farrell. This is in partnership with Cross Rhythm City Radio and Baba Baboon.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.